All right, it's Aaron Brightman, Scarlet Faithful, coming to you on Sunday. I don't know, 45 minutes after the game. Rutgers losing by 23 points on the road at Illinois, 86-63. Have a lot of thoughts about this. Slow start really hurt them. Fell behind pretty quickly. We're in double digits right off the bat. Really low shooting percentage to start the game. Missed their threes. Overall in the game, I think the story wasn't inside the arc for both teams. Rutgers kind of fell for the trap, took a lot of contested 2-point shots, long twos, rushed things a little bit. I think they lacked discipline for stretches in the first half. And then after they got it really close in the second half, again, they pressed in terms of, just I don't want to use the word panic, but they got frustrated. They started to fall behind, and they just forced things. And Illinois' size and athleticism was a huge problem today, and really got the best of Rutgers, and they were unable to keep up. I thought that, Illinois shot 26 of 36 from 2. That's insane. What is that? Yeah, they shot. That was a big problem. 72% from 2. Rutgers, 41.8% from 2, 23 of 55 is actually a little bit better than their season average in Big Ten play. But just 3 of 14 from 3. They did hold Illinois to just 6 of 27 from 3, which is really good in terms of limiting them from behind the arc. But all sorts of problems defensively in this game. One of their, just statistically, efficiency-wise, worst defensive outputs of the season. Things I did like, just in terms of, let's go back to the rebounding. Rebounding was a huge issue in this game. Illinois plus 14, specifically on the offensive glass. They abused Rutgers in this game. They had a 16-5 edge in second chance points, and that was off of an offensive rebounding advantage of just 13-10. But Rutgers, 10 offensive rebounds, just 5 second chance points. That was a big advantage for Illinois. They were plus 14 overall on the boards. They were plus 18 points in the paint, 50-32. They were 20-8 advantage in fast break points. Rutgers just 8 assists on 26 makes. Illinois did a good job of moving the basketball against the Rutgers defense as the way to attack Rutgers on the defensive end, and Rutgers wasn't able to do the same in their half court. Did get a spark from the bench today. Bench played much better. Noah Fernandez, in particular, really sparked Rutgers in the second half. This team did not give up. They showed a lot of fight. To be down 15 points early in the second half, they cut it all the way down to 4. Noah Fernandez really gave them a lift off the bench, made some shots, was disruptive. And JaMychal Davis with him as well. The speed of both of those guys gave Illinois a little bit of problems. There was even I just like Noah's mentality today. Even in the first half, he fought for a box out and against, I forget who it was someone much bigger than him, and he got the rebound. Davis started a fast break in the first half where he dove and saved the ball out of bounds. They were making hustle plays. They weren't making more as a team. They didn't make more hustle plays in Illinois, and that's a problem. But I thought that both of those guards outplayed Derek and Austin quite a bit in this game, and Rutgers got a lift from them. And if you remember, when Rutgers cut it to 4 and 5 points, Noah was in the game, and as soon as he got that 4th foul and Pike had to take him out, that's when an Illinois run started, and Rutgers kind of fell apart. Obviously, they got worn down, and Illinois just kind of abused them inside, both in attacking the rim and on the glass, and it fell apart. And this is another, blowout loss on the road. Obviously disappointing. It was a weird environment with the whole Terrence Shannon drama. And, just to touch on that, I got a lot of comments this weekend about, just because Terrence Shannon got the restraining order against Illinois and, was reinstated. The NCAA has to act on Jeremiah Williams. Well, one has absolutely nothing to do with the other. Life isn't fair. And there's two governing bodies, and the whole Terrence Shannon mess, whatever comes from that, it's in the hands of the courts. And there's certain, rulings and processes that go through the court system that have nothing to do with the NCAA, which has no structure, no transparency, nothing. They ruled on the Miami tight end for football that he gets his 9th year after 4 years of injury. He doesn't even play until next fall. I know Steve Peichel has talked about being hopeful that they're going to hear on Jeremiah Williams soon. I'm not that hopeful at this point. I'm hoping he knows more, which of course he probably does. But the curious part is that, Jeremiah Williams, if the gambling situation, the gambling probe, which he admitted to, and, he gambled on, for those that aren't familiar, he gambled online a couple $1,000, which you can't do. You can't gamble on college sports. He ultimately admitted to it. He was charged. But it basically comes down to a half a year or a full year, meaning 1 semester, 2 semesters. So the reason I'm concerned is that, yes, the NCAA could rule it any day, and who would put it past them to rule 3 weeks from now? But the second semester started. This is the first week of the second semester. That we haven't heard boo from the NCAA. So that concerns me. That, they haven't made a ruling yet. Are they really in any rush to do so? It just seems kind of sketchy on that end. And, the whole Terrence Shannon stuff, I mean, it's, it's hard to speak intelligently on the entire situation without knowing. But obviously charges are charges. But at the same time, Rutgers kind of walked into a hornet's nest tonight. I mean, the team that they played tonight is not the team that Maryland played a week ago on a sleepy Sunday without Shannon. So it was a tall task going in. They were, double-digit underdogs. And, it seems like Illinois did get an emotional lift from Shannon returning, like it or not, right or wrong. It's really not what is anything to do with what's on the court, and in terms of things being fair and, it stinks, the timing of it and all that. But, you have to deal with a hand that you're dealt. And unfortunately, Rutgers was handed a tough hand. And at the end of the day, they didn't overcome it. And again, I like the fight of this team, especially in the second half, especially with the bench, the way they played. Cliff was very good offensively. It's so ironic. I mean, he was so good offensively in this game. That's the Cliff we've been waiting for. That's the Cliff. I was thinking about this week, just in terms of how he played against Joel Soriano of St. John's in that scrimmage in October. I mean, everyone I spoke to that was there, several media members. I mean, everyone to a man said that Cliff outplayed Soriano in that game. I had Zach Brazilier on the podcast. He talked about how good Cliff was. And we haven't seen that, not even on a consistent basis, almost not at all in terms of his offense. He's had some moments. He played really well against Nebraska on Tuesday. So this was certainly a positive development to see him play so well on the offensive end. He was 10 of 19 from the floor. He had, 22 points? It's crazy. I mean, he had 22 points and Rutgers got outscored by 18 in the paint. And defensively, to be honest, he wasn't as good of a rim protector as they needed. He only had 1 block. As a team, they only had 3 blocks. And he did have 9 rebounds. Let's see. But as a team, they did not rebound well enough. Hyatt had 5. Simpson had 3. Davis had 3. Palmquist had 3. But Rutgers did not have a good enough rebounding effort. They were better from the foul line, 8 of 11, but did not get to the line nearly enough. Illinois, 16 of 27 from the line. I mean, they shot just 59% from the foul line and still won by 23. That's very frustrating. Rutgers did not get to the foul line nearly enough. And then in terms of turnovers, both teams turned it over about the same, 14 for Rutgers, 13 for Illinois. Excuse me. And Illinois had a 2015 edge points out turnovers. The fast break, Rutgers couldn't get any easy baskets tonight. In terms of layups, they did not, finish particularly well once again. They were 6 of 15 on layups, 4 of 4 dunks, so 10 of 19 total inside, not good enough. And, overall, I thought that, let's see. I thought the size and athleticism of Illinois was a problem. When Noah got in that foul trouble, it fell apart as a team. That 5th foul, I mean, when Shannon ran him over, that was a tough break also. I think the key now is, can this team stay in it emotionally and mentally? That's the key for Peichel. They have a week off now. You have Purdue coming in. We know the history of Purdue. Anything can happen against them. Can they come out and play a really good game at the Rack? The Ring of Honor is going to be inducted first ever on next Sunday. That's Eddie Jordan Eddie Jordan, Hollis Copeland, and Mike Dabney. In addition to Phil Sellers, who's already, and James Bailey, who already have numbers retired. So it's great to get the starting five, the 1976 Final Four team, honored in some way, official way, permanent way. So potential for an emotional lift in that game because of that. The crowd's going to be extra juiced. The guard play, right? I mean, the drop coverage of Illinois hurt Rutgers today, but you saw Noah kind of take advantage of it. Simpson could not. They're going to have to learn from that. I think this could help them in that game next Sunday. And then no matter what happens in that game, all of a sudden things open up. And and Rutgers is tied with Michigan for last place right now at 2-5 in the Big Ten. But if this team can just stick together and keep improving, if Cliff can keep getting better, if Noah can give them some more consistent production like he did today, if the backcourt in general can just be better, if they can, protect their home court, they're going to have to win something on the road here. They still don't have any bad losses. And I'm not even talking from a tournament perspective. I'm just talking from a team morale standpoint, from, just what we hope of this team, the soul of this team, the fan base's expectations. Like if this team can just stick together, they have a chance to build some real momentum here in early February, rattling off, some kind of streak of significance. I really think that is possible, and they just have to stick together. And this was a game where, listen, they lost by 23. There were some obvious deficiencies that Rutgers, and shooting is a problem. I mean, if you can't make twos, you can't make threes, you're not going to be competitive. And they fell apart at the end because of it. And it's been a continuing problem all season. And I think that, in terms of this team's mentality, they have to just keep fighting. They have to keep fighting the way they kept fighting against Nebraska. They're not going to beat an elite team. They don't have the talent, size, or athleticism to beat an elite team right now. Now, Purdue is one of those kind of matchup things where Rutgers, tends to match up well against them. I mean, Cliff, obviously, against Edey, one of the few bigs in the league that can actually stand up against them. The bigger guards of Rutgers have been a problem in the past for Purdue. They obviously don't have that right now. So how the Rutgers guards hold up against Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, that will be a very interesting storyline for sure. But, this team's going to have confidence going into that game. And you never know what's going to happen. And, if they can get a flyer like that and pick up a signature win, you never know what can happen with the schedule that's coming. You go on the road, Michigan and Maryland, but those are two teams that are, have plenty of deficiencies on their own. And this team just has to stay mentally tough. They have to be intense and physically tough on the court. They have to be much more connected defensively than they were in this loss to Illinois. But they have a chance. They have a chance to turn things around and have a relatively good season. I really believe it. I still, you counted this as a loss, right? Count Purdue as a loss, just saying that the percentages, right? You're 2-6. You're 2-6, but you still have a lot of winnable games on the schedule. And this front 8 games is much harder than that back 12. So can they get double-digit Big Ten wins for a 5th straight year? One of only 4 Big Ten teams to do it 4 years in a row. We'll see, but I don't think it's dead. I don't think the book is closed on that. Tonight, I actually thought there were moments where you reasons to be optimistic. I know it fell apart at the end, and they lost discipline at the end offensively, and they got frustrated, and that can't happen. And they need leadership on the court to keep them connected. Simpson did a tremendous job of that against Nebraska. Fernandez was doing a good job of that tonight, and then he got in foul trouble and kind of went to the wind a little bit. So Steve Peichel has a big job in his hands. He's got to keep this team, together. And if he does, I still think they can make some noise. And we'll see what happens here. I know I rambled a little bit, and I don't know if I made all my points. Again, it's a rapid reaction. I didn't touch on every single thing. I'll have plenty this week to catch up on. But overall, disappointing result. Some things to be encouraged about. But at the end of the day, Rutgers was just completely overmatched by Illinois about their talent, as well as their athleticism and size and the environment. They never won in Illinois, and the way the crowd was tonight, it was a pretty tall task for them to do that. But again, love the fight of them getting back in it, down to 4, and just could not sustain that type of run. And you have to, cure the poor starts, especially on the road. But they're just starting out games shooting so poorly. It's a real problem, and something they got to get fixed. So thanks for listening and watching here at the Scarlet Faithful podcast once again.